what he needed to do to put in a little bit of a gap. As I say, Porsche have an amazing history here at Lime Rock Park, and in particular, there's one Canadian team that have had some Pfaffer and name synonymous with Porsche retail and Porsche motorsport in Canada. And back in 2019, last summer, the Pfaff Porsche team of Zachary Robichon, a Canadian, and Dennis Olsen won the GTD category with their very distinctly plaid-patterned Porsche 911 GTD car.
I don't know if you can hear me, Peter. We had a little bit of a technical issue, as you can imagine. And we are about to get back into the race and have live pictures once again. Big apologies for this.
Something that can happen. I was just saying, Marco, that there's the Pfaff Porsche team that had an amazing success here in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship last summer with their Porsche 911, and of course you'll see the number 9 car of Corey Whiteman carrying their colours, and I believe that Corey works as a technician for the Pfaff Motorsport team.
I think you would be quite correct, and you can only display certain logos and liveries on the Racing Esports network if you have written permission by the owners of that logo and livery to show it. And since we are on the Racing Esports network and he's running that livery with those sponsors, I'm quite sure you need to have pretty good connections. That is an absolutely iconic livery, and it's a pleasure to have it here in the championship. We are moments away from bringing you back live pictures from the racetrack. Please bear with us. Apologies once again, as you are staring at a nice, thankfully moving screen, waiting to get back into the server. And we are officially back.
Green, green, green. We're back here at Lime Rock Park. Thank you so much for your patience, and I'm glad I had my filling material at the ready, just in case. So, lap 9 then, 7 minutes down, so we've got plenty time left in this motor race to enjoy these wonderful 718 GT4 Caymans, and of course, the Cayman GT4 had an immediate return to victory over in the World Challenge, American World Challenge over at VIR last weekend, with Spencer Pumpelly driving to a dominant victory in the first race of the GT4 Sprint Championship. And of course, Spencer, he's had some great success behind the wheel of Porsches over his career, winning many of the major endurance races. So we're riding on board with Mike Dam, the number 93 in the orange and black machine, following the 89 of David. But look at Brandon Hawkins, Marco. He is absolutely tearing away with this one, with Levesque back in 5th.
Before the connection had issues, I was just about to show you the lap time comparison. And of course we have lost the last couple of laps with this connection, but as you can see, he still keeps on gaining. And of course James David has got his mirrors full with McDam. So sadly we lost the replay I was going to show you as we go side by side, work up and trigger a bit of contact. Number 10 goes wide and out of the racing surface.
That's a very typical, very typical Lime Rock Park incident. Just the slightest bit of contact with these drivers, the speed that they're going, if you just get that slight shoulder check, that just puts you onto the dirty part of the circuit, and once you're on the grass, you are just a passenger. If you've ever driven on snow and got out of control, it's a similar feeling. So just a tiniest of contact, and of course, Marco, the penalty doesn't really fit the crime here, because in fact, the number 10 there, Chris Trickett, did really well to get that car back on the track quickly, but sometimes you can just be on that grass, sometimes what feels like forever, trying to scamper your way back onto the tarmac surface. And look at that, Mike Dam, he is wanting to get by, and who knows, if Mike Dam can clear the 89 of David, well, who knows, he might have some pace up his sleeve to go chasing after Hawkins.
Yeah, seems like he really wants to make this pass happen as we head into the chicane. Trying to, take a peek at the inside. It's not going to work as we have Gagnon Renault making a move. Sorry, bit of a drama there with Thompson and Walker. Let's see what happened there, but I think that Gagnon Renault was going very, very slowly as they were heading into the chicane, and then something must have happened.
He goes for a big move here, goes hard on the brakes, tried to... Oh, that's never going to work.
Yep.
Oh dear. He tries to take two people at once into the chicane. To be honest, you're lucky if you can overtake one person at the chicane there. It's very, very tight, and you actually need, if you go for a move there, you have to trust that the driver you're overtaking has seen you, because often they will turn in, and you do see a lot of action at that particular part of the circuit. And you know, we talked about it before the broadcast, Marco. Qualifying is absolutely vital, and we see it here with David and Mike Dam as David makes a mistake, but that's going to slow Mike Dam up. This is a disaster for Mike Dam. He really wants to get by, and of course that's brought the man from Rome, Romano, and crucially William Levesque into the field. And Mike Dam, does he have the inside line here? Whoa, he's right on the gearbox of David, and can he? He looks like he might be able to line a move up here, coming down the San Posi straight, going up the PDK gearbox. He'll look for a move on the brakes here.
He's got a chance, but no. David closes the door. Oh, goes a bit wide there, maybe too wide in fact, and Mike Dam crucially has the better line. He will have to defend now on the left-hander there. Oh, look at James David. He looks to have a little bit more overspeed, but now once again he has to defend on the inside. Beautiful battle that they will have to sort themselves out before the chicane, and seems like David has done it, and now William Levesque is also coming through after having gone past Romano.
Yeah, remember, Levesque is the closest one in the championship, and he did really, really well to put in that really clutch lap time. And Mike Dam's had a little bit of a moment, and that's going to let Levesque by. There goes Levesque. So Levesque is free. He's now up into third place, and all of a sudden, if you're Hawkins, this advantage isn't so much, because remember, there is only 6 points. 200 plays 194 in favour of Brandon Hawkins. And Matt Corrins in third place, he's only back in 6th place in this race, so it's still all to play for here. And with Levesque on the move, maybe he's just taking a little bit of time to get warmed up. Now he's thought, no more Mr. Nice Guy, I'm going to make my way up the field.
Yeah, I mean, Levesque really looked like he was in big trouble during qualifying. Had a good lap in the final few seconds, final few minutes, should I say. And now, slowly but surely, he has gained 3 spots, which is, easier said than done around this place, especially at the pointy end of the field. And now let's see his time comparison with James David. But of course, first order of business for Mike will be to pull away, for William Levesque will be to pull away from Mike Dam, and that is easier said than done. And then he can concentrate on trying to pass James David there in front of him.
Yeah, James David in this 89 machine, he did really, really well. I honestly thought, Marco, that Mike Dam had him there, but he just held so strong. But you know what? He was incredibly fair. So many drivers would have just driven straight in the side of Mike Dam there when he was making that move, but David didn't. He trusted his pace. He raced fairly clean and hard. And I have to say, I'm sure you'll agree with me, that for a commentator, and I'm sure for the audience, that's just a pleasure to watch good, clean, hard racing.
Yeah, sometimes the problem when you have that, wheel-to-wheel action is that sometimes it goes too much over the line, and then what could be a beautiful fight between 2, 3, 4, 5 cars gets disrupted, destroyed, and you have cars picking up pieces left and right. Not in this case. It was absolutely beautiful to see. Look at that lap from Levesque, and he seems to be on course for another fantastic time here. Oh, look at that. He's gaining a lot on David.
I'd like to see the gap between Levesque and Hawkins, because it just seems to me that Levesque he's all of a sudden, he's just woken up. We saw him languishing back in 20th until the very dying moments of qualifying, gets it up to 6th on, I think, his last flying lap, and now he's up to 3rd. He's fought his way through the pack on merit, and now he's just chasing down. And I have to say, I love watching this, Marco, when you can just tell, you don't even need to see the times, you just see the body language of a race car when you see someone pushing it to the limit and having the confidence to do that. And clearly Levesque is right in the groove here. And remember, we've got half an hour to go, and he's less than 6 seconds from the leader, Brandon Hawkins.
Oh man, that is absolutely correct. Now, of course, the tough part, the overtake, because David is a bit slower than Levesque, but Levesque has to make the pass there. And still another fantastic lap, 55.93 compared to a 56.36 from David. As we say a big thank to Nathaniel Lee for subscribing to Apex Racing TV on YouTube. Of course, if you're watching on our channel, Apex Racing TV, don't forget at 2 GMT. Oh, here we go!
Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh, he's scored! Oh, he might get a slowdown penalty for that. Oh no, that's a disaster for Levesque. Sorry to cut across you, Marco. 144. William Levesque, second place in the championship. He was looking like taking it from David in the 89 car, but I don't know. He might have got a slowdown penalty for that, but lost a lot of time. And now Mike Dam's got ahead of him. So all that hard work from William Levesque, he's got to do it all over again. What a pity.
What a pity indeed, man. You're absolutely correct, especially because, of course, all this battling, all these mistakes are giving Hawkins a little bit of extra breathing room. And now, once again, we have this fantastic fight with David Dam, Levesque, and Romano, basically, and also I would say Corins now waiting in the wings patiently. Here comes Levesque on the inside, and yeah, Mike Dam didn't fight it too much. And now, of course, it's once again back to trying to close that gap to James David.
Yeah, Mike Dam. I think Mike Dam made a little bit of a mistake there coming out of right-hander, and that maybe just allowed Levesque to get the run on him, possibly. But you're right, he maybe just thought, "Oh, if you're quick, I'll just sit behind you, and you can tow me along." Now, talking about Romano, you're saying that Romano means a man from Rome. I actually do know a guy called Davide Romano, but he lives in Milan.
Oh yeah, you're right. Made a mistake there on the left.
Just a little mistake, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a we have quite a lot of names here in Italy, last names that are basically geographically themed, so to speak. So it is not uncommon, but always of course Canada has got one of the nations in the world with the biggest chunk of Italian names, people of Italian origin. As a fan of North American sports, there are plenty of Canadians that have an Italian last name. So, unsurprisingly, we also had we don't have him tonight, but we had Romagnolo in the field, and Romagnolo means from the region of Emilia-Romagna, which is also birthplace of many famous, as Gagnon Renault takes down a cone, many very, very famous motorcycle riders.
I see. Of course, many of the fast Italian motorcycle riders from the seaside region as well, Rossi and Dovizioso, Petrucci, etc. So, I think that might have been a drive-through penalty, Marco. I didn't see him stop there for Gagnon Renault. I wonder why he's been handed a drive-through penalty. That's an interesting one. Indeed. Well, I have to say, Marco, the Italians, you have an influence here in Scotland as well, because one of our greatest racing drivers of all time was Dario Franchitti, who, of course, that is not a typical Scottish name, so we have to thank you for that, for giving us Dario and his brother Marino as well. So, back at the front then, or back in just close to the front, David and Levesque battling away. So, for Levesque, I'm sure he will really regret that mistake, and that could be really crucial for the outcome of the championship. Oh, as we see, is that 90? Is Thompson? Jake Thompson, yeah, the 91. Jake Thompson just has a little bit of a spin. Very, very easy to do there. Coming out of that final corner, you're right on the very limit of grip. And the thing with these little 718 Caymans is it's difficult to say that 420 just gets on the grass. Very, very easy to do there. Whoa, nearly. Oh, that was close. The thing is with these cars, the momentum is so important. They don't have massive aerodynamics. They're incredibly closely linked to the 718 GT4 road car. In fact, remarkably similar.
Oh, no!
They actually. Whoa!
That's James David.
James David! Oh, goodness me! Well, that's good news for William Levesque, terrible news for Brandon Hawkins. So, that changes the complexion of this race completely. Let's get a replay. So, James David, I think he's going to make a mistake at the same corner. Gets onto the grass, and here you're having to... Oh, and he gets a little wiggle on into the grass. Oh my... Wow. I don't know. I have no idea how those cars didn't make contact. If you want to see an example, folks, of the quality of driving we have on show here, that is it right there.
So Mike Dam, in the meantime, went straight at the chicane. I don't know if you noticed that there were, you could see him from a distance while we were watching the replay. So you can see that he's there in the back. And yeah, I mean, uncharacteristic mistake there. Absolutely crazy that this didn't end up in a multi-car pileup. Hopefully Levesque is okay because he got tagged in the left rear, but seems to me like it was one of those contacts that then basically they readjust themselves because it was just basically you know, the system on our side saw a contact that was not there, but I mean that was question of a matter of inches basically. That would have been a disaster.
Yes, a whisker in between those two cars. Just one or 2 millimeters, and that would have been a very big accident indeed. Well, but William Levesque survives, and we could look back on that incident at the end of this series, and that could be a pivotal incident in terms of William Levesque. Now William Levesque, he has the opportunity to try and hunt down Brandon Hawkins, but that's very easy to say, very hard to do. But as we look at our track map here on the top right-hand side of your screen, just underneath the Porsche logo, you'll see our leader there with the red circle around, Brandon Hawkins. Now he's got to get through traffic, and of course Levesque will do as well, but traffic can sometimes throw up all kinds of unpredictable things. We've seen a few crashes so far, and it's very easy to get caught up in somebody else's accident. Just the final thing on this final corner, Marco, trying to carry the momentum through here is so important in this car because it doesn't have massive amount of aerodynamics. It makes up all of its grip mechanically, so it really takes the driver to carry a lot of corner speed because 425 horsepower, that is a lot, but compared to the weight of the car, which is 1,340 kilograms, it is actually relatively underpowered compared to the weight for a race car. So it really comes on the skill of the driver to carry that corner speed. And in that final corner, it's so easy just to put one wheel onto the grass as you look for that ultimate entry point.
Absolutely correct. You know, also, it's one of those corners you really have to really make it, you know, taking a pinpoint. You really need to be accurate because that those massive curves that they have here. If you jump on board with Hawkins, you will see those curves on the right. They are, you see, they tend to make the car bounce quite a lot. So you can hit those, but you need to hit them just at the right angle because otherwise you will be sent into the distance on the left. And you know, when you get into the grass there, the tire wall is absolutely unforgiving and is there waiting for you. So you know, it's one of those tracks that's so simple on paper but so difficult, and more importantly, you know, apart from a very short front stretch, you can never rest yourself, your mind. You know, you are always on the edge because there's always a corner and a lot of traffic everywhere you go.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely no resting. Even down the San Posey Straight, there's always something to negotiate. I think it's a wonderful circuit here at Lime Rock Park, and a lot of history as well, particularly for Porsche as well. Now we're going to get a little replay here. This is the number 4 of Stephen Warkup. What has happened to him in the driver sports machine? Oh, just there you go. Just what you said, Marco. You cannot rest at all. 45 minutes of perfection required to get a good result here. But Stephen Warkup taking a lot of damage here to those body panels. And of course, this little 718 GT4 Cayman, in the real world, this car is actually the first ever production race car to feature body parts made of natural fiber composite material. So it's actually much more friendly in its manufacturing process to our Mother Earth. So there you go. Don't buy a hydrogen car. Buy a 718 GT4 Cayman. It's really good for the environment.
especially when you are racing in such a picturesque place as Lime Rock Park, you really don't want to, litter some trash around. And with the new damage model, you can really put a lot of stuff around on the racetrack in iRacing. So that is absolutely some great news. I love the fact when I was in the production booth for the previous rounds, hearing that basically you like to spend your free time in the Porsche configurator and set up your car exactly as you want from the online dealership. So it's certainly interesting. I remember I especially when I was a little kid and the internet was fairly new. Yeah, we had basically, me and my friends were big fans of cars, so we would buy all the magazines, and we had this new thing of the internet, and on some of the most forward-thinking car manufacturers' websites, you could actually, like you were saying, see your car and all the extra stuff you wanted to put in it. It is quite addicting, and I certainly see the beauty of doing that with a beautiful race car as this.
Yep, I have to say I'm glad you understand my hobby of going onto the configurator, and actually I have to say we at the moment the GT3 it's not on the configurator because it's not open for ordering at the moment until the new one comes out. So when that comes out, I'm going to waste many minutes configuring my dream GT3 Porsche as well. Anyway, back at the front, speaking of good, this is my favorite looking car here, the 00, a beautiful machine there, that beautiful red paint scheme there, folk right behind the number 16 of Malkov and the bright purple machine there as well. So 29 laps, 27 minutes down, so we've just gone past halfway then. We've got about 18 minutes or so to go in this race. Now, just a look at the gap at the front. Our two championship contenders, our championship leader, Brandon Hawkins, and our runner currently second place in the championship, William Levesque, is in second. So the championship order is the race order, but Hawkins is still pulling that gap, because when Levesque got up to second, it was sitting around 7.5 seconds, but Brandon Hawkins just chipping away at it. And I tell you what, Marco, he has been flawless, not even this entire race, this entire season so far.
He has been absolutely on point, and I've commentated on the Atlanta Motorsports Park Championship that they did a couple of months back with these cars, the GT4 car, the Cayman GT4, and actually his teammate Dion Fiallo, for the same team, he won every race in the championship. So seems like this team, which is an Italian team by the way, Milano Racing, and this car, they mix very well.
Must be something about Italians in Porsches for something. Definitely. So number 99, Brandon Hawkins, looking very strong. Also Matt Corrins, don't forget about him, sitting in 4th position right now in the Ronin Simsport machine, in the 42 car. And he's sitting at 3rd in the championship, and he's going to get another bag of points. And you just never know. You're never out of it till you're out of it. And anything can happen, especially when we go in 2 weeks' time. We head to Montreal to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the finale of the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada. And there, on a street course, if you make any mistake, you are in the wall and your race is done. So for Hawkins and for Levesque, they cannot afford to slip up, because Corrins, he will be right there to pinch the spot at the very first opportunity.
Yeah, I love the track selection in this championship. All tracks that are in one way or another very unforgiving. And here we go, Nelson Mason on the inside of Dmitry Malkov, and I think he gets the job done. And behind them, very dejected, but very willing to redeem himself, James David, as his car looks to be okay, despite the big off he had earlier. And he will try to make as many positions as he can. Of course, podium and even the top 5 is absolutely out of the question. top 10 Sebastian Ionita, which I'm ready to bet my house. He is of Romanian origin, sitting in 10th place, a little bit further ahead than this guy, so not 100% safe from losing the top 10, but there is going to be a lot of fighting between these 4 drivers here.
There is indeed, and back at the front, that gap between Levesque and Hawkins is pretty steady, but Romano, he's sitting on the last place on the podium right now in that blue and yellow machine. Reminds me of the old British touring cars, the Renault Laguna British touring cars, the Williams Renault Lagunas, that paint scheme he's got on that car, and the 337 machine. He's not far behind Levesque, and there's Matt Corrins as well, and Mike Dam also. So just that's the thing in this series, Marco, is that one tiny mistake and you are punished so much.
Absolutely. Here you get punished because this is one of the old school racetracks, so you go wide, there is grass, and then you can either fall into basically what is the shadow realm. If you go off in turn 1, you can actually go out of the track boundaries and be teleported straight to the pits, because again you fall into the famous iRacing shadow realm, or you hit the wall or the tire barriers. And of course Montreal, the next round in a couple of weeks time, the walls are so close, despite being still used in F1, but it has such a vibe of one of the old school tracks where every mistake is punished. As William Levesque made a small mistake, I just got notification of that, but he was able, even small mistakes around here, you need to be careful, because a small mistake can result in a moment, or a big off, like James David had before. So I would really love, I'm really interested to see how these guys will fare in a radically different racetrack, but still very unforgiving like Montreal. But still, we have less than 15 minutes left around here, of course, as you were saying. And thank you, by the way, for explaining to me that the MR in the car name stands for Manta Racing, because I would never have guessed it. I was actually wondering it, before you told me during one of the broadcasts earlier in the season. This car has, especially in that configuration, has no need to stop for a 45-minute race. Actually, I did some endurance race commentary, and this car was part of the championship, and these and the TCR cars were basically 1 hour and a half of 1 hour and a half of fuel in their cars, and then they stopped. So we are basically just scratching the surface of their fuel tanks.
Yes, they are. They are incredibly. I was amazed when I first checked it up just how big the fuel tank. They have an endurance fuel tank, and that's the amazing thing about this particular car. In the real world, anyway, you can do sprint racing with it. There is a new sprint championship in the UK, and I'm sure there is all over the world as well, where the thing is you can buy this car from your Porsche dealer and you can have it serviced there as well, because it's so closely related to the GT4 road car, which I have to say I do know somebody who has one of these in road trim, and it is a beautiful machine indeed. But in race trim, like you say, the MR edition, the Manti Racing Pack, which is basically like an add-on pack to convert the car to full GT4 endurance specification, it costs another 30,000 euros, but then you can take it to race in all kinds of amazing racing series, and that's what gives you that extra long fuel tank as well. However, Porsche, as I say, Porsche have built up a reputation for very desirable, very high performance, but also very durable vehicles. If you look, you think that 70% of the Porsches that have ever been built are still on the road in operation. And I think a lot of that comes down to Porsche's long-standing commitment to motorsport. I think there's two brands in the history of the motor vehicle who have really stuck to motorsport, and that's Porsche and Ferrari. And Porsche, in particular, they've just stuck they've been so committed to motorsport. They've won more Le Mans 24 hours outright than any other manufacturer. They've won it 19 times, but they've won 108 class wins at Le Mans, and being able to win the Le Mans 24 hours in any class just proves the performance and the durability of the vehicle. But Porsche's commitment to motorsport, they've been one of the early adopters of esports as well, and fully understand their importance. And this particular 718 GT4 Cayman here on iRacing is a perfect platform to find the fastest driver in Canada on sim racing.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Especially now we have of course, the famous Porsche iRacing Super Cup, and this car here is used basically in the junior series, which is the Porsche Sprint Challenge, that basically takes place just before the main event of the Porsche iRacing Super Cup. I think the next round is tomorrow. No, today is so it's Friday in Europe. It's Thursday in America, in North America. So yeah, no, it's in 2 days time on Saturday. So, but yeah, next Saturday, this coming Saturday, we have another round, and here we go side by side. And by the way, as Bartley goes past Gobble, or does he? You know, you have to qualify for the Porsche Racing Super Cup, but the Sprint Challenge is open to everyone, provided you have an high enough high rating to make the top split. But you know, everyone can race.
And that's one thing I love about sim racing is that, you know, if you own one of these vehicles in the real world and you can take it racing, you're one of a very lucky few, and you deserve that privilege. But here on iRacing, it's a very inclusive club motorsport feel and very, very high level of driving, as we can see here as Gobel wants to snatch his position back from the 333 of Nathan Bartley. Also, if you're watching on the Porsche Motorsport Canada Facebook page, hello to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying our coverage. Or if you're watching on YouTube, on Apex Racing TV, or the iRacing Esports Network, thank you so much for your company. I hope you're enjoying the commentary here with myself, Peter Mackay, and Marco Barbanera. 8 minutes to go, Marco, and that gap between Hawkins and Levesque has not moved even a tenth.
No, great consistency from both drivers, but in this case, of course, Hawkins is the one in the that can afford to be just quote unquote be consistent, because of course he likes the gap to stay right where it is. As you can see, lap 39, a little bit of a drop there, but apart from that, it has been mostly equal. Let's see this lap number 40 as Levesque comes on the start-finish line. No, yeah, loses this time. So really, Levesque can, I think, blame himself partially, because of course he lost. He almost got into second, then made that mistake and lost all those places. And then a little bit of bad luck, because I think maybe he's got some damage there to the left rear quarter panel that might have affected him. But at that point, I think that Hawkins was too far away to even try and go catch him, unless Levesque started lapping massively quick, which given the fact that he's trying his best and he's not been able to do that, makes me a bit sad, because if Levesque had qualified a little bit better, we might have seen a big fight there at the front, nose to tail, for the full 45 laps. But that's why qualifying is so important.
Yeah, we did. We mentioned it as well, how important that was. But don't forget that, remember, Levesque, he has finished, if we finish in this order, he will have finished second 3 times in a row. Now, Brandon Hawkins has won 3 times in a row, but that only leaves him, that will, if I check my mathematics correctly, yeah, that will mean that he will only be 9 points behind going into the final round. So the winner gets 100 points, second 97. So basically, if Hawkins were to finish in 4th or higher, he will win the championship. But it's still very, very close. And like we talked about, that Montreal circuit is an old school circuit, and the walls are right on the edge of the track. You don't need to worry about track limits there, because the track limit is the wall, and it will bite you and penalise you if you make a mistake. Now, Brandon Hawkins has not made a mistake in now 3 races here in the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada. But make no mistake, this even if we finish in this order, we still go to Montreal with the championship very much alive.
I jinxed a bit Sebastian Unita, because he has actually lost his top 10. Evan Lynn goes past him. Now he's got a very determined Nelson Mason trying to snatch P11 from him. James David a little bit back there. I think he made a small mistake a couple of corners back. Yeah, this could be a super tasty fight for the top 10 spot in what we have less than 5 minutes in this race. And you know, 5 minutes are very long around Lime Rock. Again, with all these corners, you can really make a mistake in any moment. Here comes Unita trying to get back his position. Let's jump on board with him actually and see if he can get a good run coming out of the final corner.
And also Lien, he has a lot of damage on the front of that car, that 00 machine, as he puts one wheel on the grass, and if Ionita gets a good run, he tries to weave around to stay in the draft. Lien goes to the defensive side, but there's a lot of twists and turns here. It's not over yet by any means, but Lien is able to defend, and that's the thing here at Lime Rock Park. You don't necessarily need to be lapping faster than the person behind you. You just need to be close enough to be able to be defensive. You can make that might be a car with a small footprint, but you can make it look very wide here around the twists and turns of Lime Rock Park, as Brandon Hawkins still pushing on. 1 minute 56.3, but Levesque ever so slightly faster, 56.2. So Hawkins managing that gap beautifully.
They all go wide there. You know, some more wide than others, and so dangerous to do that, as we have seen, as you know, James David can tell you. But James David was one of the drivers who also went wide there, so he is certainly pushing hard, trying to get back into this fight for the top 10. He is just lagging a bit behind this trio by just a few tenths of a second, not more. But of course, clock is not on his side, as we might have maybe McCorrins maybe can try a little bit of an attack for third place, using a little bit of the traffic to his advantage.
Yeah, and this is important because Matt Corrins is third in the championship, Giovanni Romano in fifth, so they're very much battling for honours in the championship here. So Matt Corrins, he will know that. He'll know, no doubt about it, he'll know where Giovanni Romano is in the championship. And as we head into the final couple of laps here, will Matt Corrins risk it? Will he put a move on? Because as you alluded to earlier, Marco, whenever you make a move, you have to be very bold and quite aggressive. There's not really any smooth overtaking moves at Lime Rock. You have to be very aggressive. But Romano looking very strong here and keeping Matt Corrins at bay for now.
And as you have seen there on the left hand side of your screen, apart from the leader, everyone is in a different place from where they started this race 43 minutes ago, as on the start finish straight once again, as we start what I think will be the penultimate lap of this race. Still very close for third place, and super close here for the last position of the top 10 between Liam, Unita, Mason and David, as they all come on the start finish line once more. But let's jump very quickly to this fight for third.
So it's Romano trying to keep Matt Corrins behind him in the Ronin Simsport machine as they head down towards Matt Corrins. Very late on the brakes there, and that's number 86. Now who is that? That's Sebastian Ionita. Oh no, dearie me, he was in the battle for that last spot in the top 10. What happens to him here? So let's see, coming down into Big Ben, turn 1 and 2. Oh, punt! Oh my goodness me, that was a big old punt there. I think maybe he was getting a little bit loose anyway, but he got followed on massively. Let's see what happens here. Riding on board, this is going to be aggressive. Oh god, that'll give you nightmares. Oh wow. 24 of Nelson Mason gives him a proper punt off the track there. Well. That's need to see what the stewards think about that. But Romano, the number 337, still defending. So I think this time round, this will be our leader. Brandon Hawkins will take the white flag. We'll see Barney, the flagman, waving that furiously at him to say one more to go here at beautiful Lime Rock Park.
Here he comes then, as the clock hits 45, it is correct. We have one more lap around here.
That was very close to making me sound very silly, Marco, because he almost got the checkered flag there. But he, yes, white flag. So this is the final lap then for Brandon Hawkins. And look at Matt Corrins, big send. Oh, gets it up on the curb, has to wiggle it about. Romano cuts back, and Corrins gives him a little room. Oh, is Corrins going to have a look? This matters. This really matters in the championship, and that might be Matt Corrins done, but he might have another look. He had a big old send there, climbing over the curb, and was lucky not to hit Romano there in the 337 machine as they head down towards the chicane. Brandon Hawkins won't be far away from taking the victory now, so let's see what's going to happen here between Romano as Brandon Hawkins comes over the line to win his third race out of 3 attempts here in the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada. Congratulations to the driver of the number 99 machine, with William Levesque, number 144, coming in with his third second place finish in a row as they run to the line. Drag race down the San Posi straight, but it's Romano that just takes that last spot in the podium, with Matt Corrins pushing him all the way in 4th, and Mike Dam takes 5th.
Man, that was a crazy last lap. I have no idea how that did not end up in tears. And actually, as a matter of fact, let's check the replay very quickly from high above, because Corrins sent the car and, you know, all of the car over the curb and the grass. Let's see it once again. So he moves on the inside, goes for it, and I mean, that was crazy, but crazy good in my opinion. So,
ooh, and a little hip check there as well. But yes, you're right, good indeed. And of course, remember this 718 GT4 came in. It does have anti-lock brakes, and you could actually see the brake lights flickering on Matt Corrins' car there, and he was almost, he wouldn't be locking up, but the brake pressure would be coming in and out as the, oh, and a little love tap there from Levesque to say well done to his competitor Brandon Hawkins. Very good. So, wow, what a race. 51 laps of action here at Lime Rock Park. What a race that was to call, Marco, and hopefully we will get the opportunity to get a couple of our drivers up here in the commentary box to have a chat with us. But let's have a look at the race results when we have them. Indeed we do. So, your winner then of round 3 of the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada was Brandon Hawkins in the number 99 Movano Sim Racing machine. Second was William Levesque, again for the 3rd time in the row in the 144 machine, but 7.3 seconds back. Rounding out the podium was Giovanni Romano in the HJ Motorsport 337 car. 4th was Matt Corrins, almost taking that last spot on the podium, but not quite. 5th, a good drive from Mike Dam in the 93. 6th was Nathan Bartley. 7th, Brody Goebel. 8th was James Walker. 9th, Corey Whiteman in the number 9 Pfaff Motorsport machine, the tartan plaid car. Great to see that out there as well. 10th was Evan Leon in the 00 car. 11th was Nelson Mason. 12th, James David, our former 2nd place man, unfortunately dropping back to 12th place after a little bit of a spin. 13th was Dmitry Malkov. 14th, Ian Gagnon-Renault. 15th was Sebastian Ionita. 16th, Brian Carey. 17th, Chris Trickett. 18th, Jake Thompson. In 19th was Eric Bourdois. 20th, Sam Fellows in the other Pfaff car. 21st was Stephen Warkup. 22nd, Jordan Dion Gilbert. 23rd was Tony Klosterman. 24th was Richard Hibbs. And rounding out the field, 25th was Alex Ellis. Well, Marco, that was a real cracker there. Who gets your driver of the day while we wait for our drivers to come in for interview?
I mean, it would be too easy to say Brandon Hawkins because, you know, he ran away with it and had a fantastic race himself. But, you know, and I'm not biased, I would say that Giovanni Romano is my driver of the day because he had a risk-free, very interesting race. He had ended up on the podium, and when it mattered the most on that final lap, he was able to defend from a very aggressive dive from Matt Corrins that could have unsettled a lot of drivers, but he was able to keep it straight, get back in front of him, and finish on a very, very well-deserved podium. Of course, shout out William Levesque, because he was certainly the hardest working driver out there, and it just was not to be for him, because when he finally got into second, the gap was too big and there was no way he could have got back to Brandon Hawkins. But you know, there is still next round, and that will be, of course, in Montreal, with so many things that can happen there. And I think we can also ask that to our drivers, who are, I think, waiting for us now, finally, in the interview waiting room.
Well, let's get them in. Let's chat to our winner, Brandon Hawkins. Let's see if we can get him to come in and join us in the commentary booth. As we see, is he going to join us? We'll see. Here he is, Brandon Hawkins, 3 wins in a row. How does that feel, sir?
Hey guys, man, yeah, it feels really good. I knew qualifying was going to be a really big thing here, so yeah, I did as well as I could, and yeah, I'm happy to bring it home. So yeah, it's a little bit. I'm still not comfortable going into Montreal, but it helps for sure.
It certainly is. You couldn't have, well, an absolutely perfect score so far. So it looked like you had the pace straight out of the trailer today. I was watching the times in practice, and you were able to just get up to speed so quickly. Is Lime Rock a track that you like the layout of? Of course, it's completely different than the 2 tracks we've had so far at Watkins Glen and Mossport, of course. But tell us about how you feel around Lime Rock Park.
Yeah, Lime Rock's a really nice track. It's nice and flowing. You gotta be like, you can't push it too hard or you'll be slow. So I guess that I kind of I'm all right with that. And yeah, you just gotta take it kind of easy. Just make sure you get right on the bottom going into 1 and 2, and yeah, it's just a really nice track to run. The chicane's definitely a challenge. I haven't run that before, or I've only run it a couple times, but yeah, it's a really nice track. Also one of my favorites. So yeah, it's good.
Well, Brandon, in 2 weeks' time, we'll head to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, as you say, an iconic street circuit. What's the plan over the next fortnight? There's a big prize on offer, and you're sitting in pole position right now to take it. What's the plan for preparation over the next couple of weeks to get ready for that finale?
I think just doing a lot of laps, showing up to all the practices. The practices definitely help a lot. So yeah, just to kind of know what everything's going to be like in a race situation. And yeah, I think Montreal, I have a little bit of room to play with, but I can't let my guard down at all, because yeah, we got a group of really fast guys, and yeah, I'm just gonna try and bring it home next 2 weeks from now, I guess. Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the very best of luck. Of course, we won't get the chance to speak to you between now and the race, so all the best of luck. It's been a pleasure to watch you so far in these 3 races, and looking forward to having a chat with you after the race in 2 weeks' time. And thank you very much for coming to join us.
Thanks, guys. It's been a blast.
So that was Brandon Hawkins, a race winner, a trio of race wins in this Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada. Let's have a chat to William Levesque, if we can, our second place finisher, who's had a trio of runner-up places. Let's see how he's thinking. William Levesque, 3 second places in a row. I think it's about time it's your turn to get the top step. Tell us about that race today. It was certainly eventful.
You've no idea how many times I've finished seconds in the past month or 2. It's a bit silly, but we'll see if I get to win at some point. It's a long time due now. But yeah, I mean, qualifying, didn't really botch my lap, but it wasn't a good lap. I had really bad understeer all throughout the session. I'm not sure why. Maybe just the way I drove the out lap. The tires just never got into a proper balance. But yeah, the race start, I took it really carefully. So just, not to get into an incident. And then obviously it was all about trying to make some places back. I knew the chances of getting up to Brandon were extremely slim unless he made a mistake. So I wasn't too much in a hurry. The guys made it quite easy for me, actually. Romano let me pass because because he didn't want to lose too much time trying to battle. And then afterward, we got into a battle with Dam and James there, and yeah, I took an opportunity with Dam, and then trying to pass James, I overshot just a couple meters into the chicanes, so I had to cut the track and then wait for the slowdown. But Dam let me pass right away, and then James had his spin. That was a little bit scary. I wasn't sure if he was gonna snap left or right, so I took a guess, and it kind of went okay. Got a 0x with him, but didn't get any damage. And then obviously after that, I was never gonna catch Brandon. So like 7 or 8 seconds at that point to him. So at Lime Rock, it was GG, as we say, and just concentrated on not making any mistakes.
Well, he certainly did a cracking job. And finally, the in qualifying, when just before we were coming to the checkered flag in qualifying, we saw you all the way back in 20th position. And of course, here at Lime Rock Park, it's so hard to gain track position, and you just put in that lap to get onto 6th on the grid at the very last moment. Just give our viewers an impression of what was going through your mind at that time, because I have to say I was nervous for you at that point.
I was a bit nervous as well, but it's like I said, I struggled throughout the qualifying with understeer, so I always ran wide here and there, braking a bit too late, struggling to get a proper clean air out on track. It was a lot of cars for a very small track, but I got my act together a bit more at the end there. I finally could get a decent lap in. Still probably 2 tenths in there for sure, but it goes how it goes.
Well, it was certainly impressive for you to pull that lap out right at the end. So heading into Montreal, second in the championship and still very, very close to Brandon Hawkins. Of course, we won't get the opportunity to have a quick chat with you before the race, so we wish you all the very best of luck for the championship finale here in the Porsche Sprint Challenge Canada, and looking forward, hopefully, to having a chat with you post-race after the race at Montreal. Thanks very much for coming to join us in the commentary box, and good luck with the preparations over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
So finally, we have our third place finisher, Giovanni Romano, and I think it's only right if I pass over to my colleague Marco Barbanera to have a chat with him.
Hello, Giovanni. Welcome to the commentary box. Congratulations on the podium. How are you feeling?
Thanks, guys. I'm feeling really good. That was a heck of a race.
So let's say that you were there or thereabouts for the entirety of the race, but it all boiled down to that final lap, first corner, because Mac really sent the car on the inside. And what were you thinking, and how were you able to defend?
When I saw him send it up there, I was like, okay, first of all, let's hope we don't crash, because third or fourth, I'll be happy. But I managed to, he went a bit deep, and I managed to over-under him, and, well, I kind of paid him back a little bit for the aggressive move and a little bit of a door banging in return. We chatted after a little bit about it, and we're both okay with it, so I think it was just good hard racing and a really good battle.
Speaking of good hard racing, it's not been the longest of championships, being this only the third round. What are your thoughts on the championship as we head into the final round in a couple of weeks?
First of all, I'll say the driving standards have been really good. Such a skilled group, and I think every race so far I've had a really clean race with everyone around me, and I really appreciate that. And also, it's looking like it's a two-car battle for the championship, but I'm hoping I can maybe get into P3. If I could do that, that would be fantastic.
What are your feelings towards the Montreal racetrack? It's quite a unique challenge compared to this. Of course, those close walls and tight chicanes. Are you confident of getting a good result there?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it was probably my best track in the time trial, and I've raced there before in this car, so I have some experience. It's probably, I'd say, the most challenging track on the schedule. Those curbs are, they really make it or break it. You can gain a lot of time by hopping those curves, but you can also lose it all as well. So it's quite a challenge.
Well, Giovanni, thanks a lot for jumping on with us. Congratulations once again on the podium. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yes, thanks to Porsche for putting on the series and iRacing as well. You guys for the broadcast, and also shout out to HJ Motorsport, my team. Nice to have them.
Thanks a lot, Giovanni, and good luck in a couple of weeks' time.
Thanks, guys.
So that was our third place finisher, Giovanni Romano, the driver of the 337 machine, coming home in third place. Well, we're 2 weeks' time. We will be off over into Canada, to Montreal for the Circuit Shield Villeneuve for, well, what will be a finale of what's been an amazing 4-race season here live on Apex Racing TV and the iRacing Esports Network. And also don't forget the Porsche Canada Motorsport page as well. Thank you to everyone watching on there as well. So don't forget, same time 2 weeks from today, we will be back to see Brandon Hawkins and William Levette go for that grand prize. Before we go, Marco, final thoughts on today's action?
Fantastic stuff. This championship always delivers, and Lime Rock, of course, always delivers. The fight for second, third, fourth, fifth, and of course the battle for the back end of the top 10 were really, really exciting with some fantastic clean racing, couple of crazy moments here and there, and again, cannot wait for Montreal. It's going to be a fitting finale to a short but very, very entertaining season.
It is. I can't wait. I'm just a little disappointed we've got a whole fortnight to wait, but looking forward to it indeed. That's all we've got time for here on Apex Racing TV and the iRacing Esports Network. Thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did here up in the booth. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time, and thank you so much for watching. Good night.